In this Map Suite MVC Edition sample app walkthrough, we're going to show you how you can do auto refreshing on your overlay. As you can see here by our sample application, I've got it displaying here, and there's these different markers that are refreshing automatically approximately every second. So they're dancing around the screen on their own without me clicking anything on the map. So this can be very useful if, say, you have a vehicle tracking system or you have something else that's moving and you want to display this on the map automatically without having to force your user to click a button to refresh or do something along those lines. So let's take a look at the code to see how you would set something like this up. To get started, let's take a look at the view source code. And let's start down here where we're actually setting up the map and adding it to the page. We're setting up our World Map Kit overlay and zooming into the area that contains our markers. And then down here we've actually got is where we're setting up our in-memory marker overlay. And right here is where the magic is. On the in-memory marker overlay there is a property called the AutoRefresh interval. And when you set that, you can give it a time span for how often you would like it to refresh. And in this case, we're refreshing every 1,000 milliseconds, which equals 1 second. And then off of that, you tell it what you want to do when that 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second expires. So in this case, we're saying we want to call the refresh markers routine on the client side. So if you look, you'd set the on-client auto refresh tick to call the refresh markers, and this is a JavaScript function up above here that will get executed every second when the map goes to refresh. This code down here is just setting up the actual in-memory marker overlay to style our markers, for the various zoom level sets, and adding the first 5 markers for their default location. So for example, if this was a vehicle tracking system, when the page first loads, this would be the current location of where those vehicles are. So let's take a look about what happens on the refresh. So on the refresh, when this JavaScript gets executed, it's going to do an AJAX callback. It's going to tell it what controller it wants and what method call it needs to do. In this case, we're not passing any parameters to the server because we're going to find out the new location of the markers on the server side and then update the client accordingly. And as a result here, when it comes back, we're just going to redraw the marker overlay with the updated locations of the markers. So the last piece I wanted to show you is on the server side, and this is after the AJAX callback happens, this is what gets called on the server side. As you can see, we get passed in the map, and we just get a reference to our in-memory marker overlay, and we go through each of the markers in the overlay, and we basically, in this case, because we're not going against a database or we don't have any real live data to update the thing, we're just moving the locations via some algorithm here, and that's updating the locations of those markers, and then that's going to return back to the client and update the locations accordingly. So if we reload this page now, you'll see that the markers are dancing around every second. So their locations are moving, and in this case, because of our algorithm, they're slowly moving north on the map, and gives you a good piece of functionality for you to give your mapping application a more live or real-time feel to it, without having to make the user refresh the map automatic, via clicking something else, and it all happens automatically. I hope this walkthrough has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us or post them directly on our discussion forums at thinkgeo.com/forums. And thanks for watching.